Hey, welcome back to Matt's Garage DIY. Today, we're going to be bluing a gun barrel. So today we're specifically going to talk about cold bluing a gun barrel. If you look online, there's all sorts of opinions, results, comments, thoughts, etc. about whether it works, whether it doesn't work. So right up front, I'm going to say cold bluing is not the same as hot bluing. Obviously, hot bluing will provide a deeper, stronger, blacker finish to your barrel, to your parts, to your pieces. But just kind of doing some quick research on that, you're looking anywhere from $200 to $400, depending on if you're getting just a barrel done or you're getting all the parts and pieces done with that. This SKS restoration that I'm working on, I do not want to spend $400 to get all the parts and pieces blued. I'm going to go through the cold blue process. I've done a bunch of other parts and pieces with that. This is the first time I'm kind of doing a whole barrel, but I found a couple things that have really helped, and I'm going to share that with you as well. I've got two different. I've got both the Perma blue and this Brownells Oxpho blue. I'm going to show you both of those side by side on a piece, what works, what doesn't work. So first off, I wanted to show you this piece here. So this is the top half of the receiver on the SKS. I have already blued this piece. It is quite a reasonably good bluing or black finish to that. This is the stock receiver beside it. Again, I'm comparing or showing you a round piece and a flat piece. Obviously, the light hits those differently, so it doesn't give you a true kind of comparison or example of what that is. So in this video, I'm going to take the magazine. I'm going to strip basically a bunch of it. I'm going to use the Perma blue on a portion. I'm going to use the Brownells Oxpho blue on another portion, and I'm going to leave a portion of it, sort of the original black, just so you can sort of see those three side by side and get a little bit better of a comparison of what that looks like. So for this video, I'm going to use this surface of the magazine. That was kind of the biggest, flattest piece I could find for the video. I'm trying to just use one kind of as close as I can to identical piece, just so that you get a true comparison between them all. As you'll see, sort of in the shot, this edge right here shows quite shiny in the video with the lighting. That's actually still original factory black, but just with the lighting, it shows up as a silver line. So just kind of keep that in mind. I'm going to take a strip of black electrical tape, kind of run that up the middle here. That will protect my factory finish. So to start, you want to remove the original factory finish. I'm going to be using a red Scotch-Brite pad. You can get that at an auto body shop, probably your local hardware store. But I'm going to use that to scour off all of the black on the parts that we're going to re-blue. So I've got my metal all cleaned. I'm going to just talk real quick about the two processes. So Perma blue, after you buff it or kind of remove the old black, you are supposed to clean and rinse it, apply this with a cloth or a sponge, let it sit for a minute, polish it with steel wool. If you want it darker, you basically repeat all of that. So clean it, apply it, let it sit, and then re-polish it with the 4/aught steel wool. The Brownells has a bit of a simpler process. Again, you're supposed to start with kind of removing the old black. Right on here, they talk about it not being critical to remove thin oil and thin rust. But then as far as like putting it on, basically you just put it on with the cloth or the rag, let it sit for a minute. So that part of the equation is exactly the same. But then this doesn't talk about rinsing it or cleaning it. Basically, you just reapply it, repolish it with the steel wool, reapply it, repolish it with the steel wool as you go. So we're going to do that with both of these. I'll start with one layer and then maybe 2 and 3, kind of show you that. And then we're going to jump up to probably 5 and 10. Just I have found that 10 is really kind of the mark you need to be shooting for if you're wanting a good kind of deep dark color. Coat number 1, a little bit of acetone. Clean that, let it dry. Time for the magic. Here's the Perma blue. Give that a good thick coat. Now for the Brownells. Got a new cloth that I'm applying this with. Again, good good thick coat of that as well. All right, we'll let each of those sit for a minute, and then we'll come back and take a look. This is sat for about a minute. I'm going to just wipe off the excess off of both sides. Give it a quick polish. This is 4/0 steel wool. Initial look, Perma Blue is providing, looks like a more even blackish gray color. The Brownells has some darker portions and some more, certainly a more distinct blue hue to it, but a little bit splotchy right now. So we'll see if coat number 2 makes that look better. So on the Perma Blue side, I did rinse that with some water and dry it off. Now we're going to put the second coat on. All right, we'll let these sit for another minute. Coat number 2 has been wiped off. You can see both are still streaky. The Brownells definitely has that bluer tinge. The Perma Blue more of just a black gray color. We're going to buff those with some steel wool and go for coat number 3. Round 3. Coat number 3 has been wiped off, both sides buffed with steel wool. Definitely darkening up, but basically after the first coat, every coat after that is only a slight difference. You really have to put a lot of coats in, and I had to count the coats to keep track of where I was at because there's such small differences. But you can see with both, here with the Brownells, some inconsistency in the coloring right there. And with the Perma Blue, this is a bit of reflection, so kind of try to ignore that. But as you move up here, and then kind of up in this area, again, also some of that inconsistency in the color. I'm going to wipe some of that glue off. All right, so still struggling a little bit with the lighting. This is this bluing is a tough thing to show, but the center portion where the original color is definitely is a flatter finish, obviously more consistent, but you can see both the Perma Blue and the Brownells are kind of providing, a black dark finish to it. There is one other thing I've done to help with some of that inconsistency in color. I'll show you that next. All right, this is not something that I have seen in a video or seen anybody else do. This is just something that I kind of stumbled upon myself. Basically, I've taken a little bit of the 0/0 steel wool, kind of ball it up, put some of the Perma Blue directly on it, and then use that as my applicator. So I'm almost buffing and applying at the same time. We're going to let that sit for the minute. I'm going to use a fresh piece of steel wool. I'm going to do the same thing with the Brownells. All right, so that's 4 coats with the 4th coat using the steel wool as the applicator. As you can see, both of them have a much more consistent coloring. There is still a little bit at the bottom of the Brownells where there's still a little bit of variation. Or a few more coats applied using that steel wool method, just really kind of evens that out and does a nice job of finishing that off. So fast forwarding, this is now 10 coats on each side. Coats 4 through 10 have all been applied using the steel wool. With that method, every couple passes or every couple coats, I'll switch out to a new piece of steel wool. All I'm doing between each coat is just wiping with a paper towel, no other cleaning in between coats other than that. Another one of the advantages of this method, if I do find little spots that are still a little bit streaky or inconsistent, I can actually just kind of really scrub right in there with the steel wool and the bluing compound applied to it, and that just really seems to nicely even it out. So just another look at that with a little bit different lighting. I have placed beside it the piece of the SKS receiver that I previously had done 10 coats on. You can now see that this is a very good match that I'd used the Perma Blue for both of those. And then the Brownells, again, has that slightly bluer tint to it, but again, just as dark. Anyways, there you have it. I hope you found this video helpful. Please click that like and subscribe button. And as always, stay tuned for my next video.